Incoming President Trump's so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, or DOGE, is getting more bipartisan support. Florida Congressman Jared Moskowitz is the first Democrat to join the House caucus that Republicans are organizing to support DOGE. Congressman Moskowitz joins us now. Thanks for joining us, Congressman. So Trump has selected Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to run this new group, which will ultimately make recommendations for how to cut government spending. So why are you getting on board to support this?
Sure. Well, look, that's the committee that Elon and Vivek are running. This is the caucus within Congress. Most caucuses in Congress are bipartisan, and most caucuses don't take caucus positions. They don't have official things to do, but members gather and have conversations. And so, look, I think it's the time for staying in safe spaces is over. We should be able to go in spaces and have that conversation. I joined with a specific focus because I've been working on for years trying to get FEMA out of the Department of Homeland Security. I think the Department of Homeland Security was a great idea. I think it's still necessary, but I think over the last 20 years, it's become too big. And so I think FEMA needs to be a direct report to the White House like it was when it was originally created. I think there's evidence that Secret Service probably should come out of DHS and also be a direct report to the White House. So that's where these conversations are going to have, and so I'm willing to go there and have it. I'm sure there's going to be things that Elon and Vivek are going to come up with that I'm vehemently going to disagree on, and I will make sure that I'm a loud voice voting against that stuff. But we got to go to where the conversations are happening. The idea that we're not going to go to these places and just pretend the conversations aren't happening is not a way to conduct business here.
What makes you think that, or if you think that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk might be good at this? I mean, obviously, Tesla and Musk's exploration of space are impressive, but when it came to trimming the fat out of Twitter, what he basically did is just open the door for Nazis and Hamas. So you know it might be a leaner operation at Twitter, but it also made Twitter kind of a cesspool.
Yeah, and look, I've been a leader on that, sending letters to Elon about all the anti-Semitic comments, quite frankly, that I get towards me on Twitter. At the end of the day, I think everyone in Congress is of the position that government isn't perfect, right? So I'm looking for ways to improve government. I think the American people expect us to find ways to improve government, and in some places, that may be shrinking the size of government. By the way, that used to be a Republican concept. But lately, they want more government in bedrooms. And so I'm looking to have this overall conversation. It's why I joined the caucus, to go there and meet with my colleagues across the aisle. And Democrats shouldn't fear this conversation. I think there are ways to improve government, and I'm looking to do that.
You're not the only one on the left. Senator Bernie Sanders turned some heads Sunday when he posted on X or Twitter, quote, Elon Musk is right. The Pentagon, with a budget of $886 billion, just failed its 7th audit in a row. It's lost track of billions. Last year, only 13 senators voted against the military-industrial complex and a defense budget full of waste and fraud. That must change. Beyond horseshoe theory, I mean, they're right. There is a lot of waste in the Pentagon, but Republicans and Democrats are pretty much, as Bernie Sanders points out, reluctant to take on the sacred cow of the Pentagon.
Well, that's my point. Like, I'm not afraid to have these conversations. I think a broken clock is right twice a day. And so where I think they're right, we should have that conversation, and we should vote to improve government. Where they're wrong, Democrats should stand up. If they come to try to take my residents' Social Security away or Medicare, I'm going to stand up and fight against that. But if they want to figure out how we can spend less by giving the same level of service, or they want to figure out where there's waste, fraud, and abuse, let's clean up the system. I don't think that's something Democrats should shy away from, which is why I joined the caucus.
While I have you, I wanted to get your reaction to President Biden going back on his word and pardoning his son, Hunter. Many people saying that he outright lied. The New York Times reporting that Biden had been contemplating this since Hunter's conviction in June. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I don't love the pardon, but I try to take a step back. I mean, I come from the city of Parkland, Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. I watched parents bury their kids, and I think about President Biden having done that twice. One when one of his kids died young in a car accident, and then burying Beau Biden. And then I think about my 2 boys, and I think to myself, as a father, not as a congressman or a president, but as a father, if my son or one of my sons made some really bad mistakes and got themselves into trouble, and I had the power to help them, would I not do that? Would a parent not do that? Would a parent not do everything they can within their power to help their child? It just so happens he's the president. He has all the power. And that's where I think ultimately most Americans look at this. I mean, if it was one of my kids and I could help my kid, I would I would help them. But obviously, you know, I don't love the pardon, I don't love the precedent, but I get it from the parent level, especially in Joe Biden's case, you know, having buried 2 children before.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz, Democrat of Florida, thanks so much. Coming up next,